Neon humming on Lower Broad, y'all pull up a chair. This week in country music history takes us from Maynardville to Montgomery to Music City, with a detour down Gallatin Road and a chart room in 95. Let's start with a birthday that's more like a bell toll in Grand Ole Opry history. September 15th, 1903, Maynardville, Tennessee, Roy Claxton. Acuff comes crying into this world and spends the next 9 decades teaching country music how to carry itself. You can't tell the Opry story without the king of country music. He's the fellow who helped move the sound from string band hoedowns to a singer standing center stage, telling you the truth like a hymn with a heartbeat. By the late 30s, the Smoky Mountain Boys had folks mailing sacks of fan letters to the Rye Man. And for generations after that, Roy was the handshake at the Opry door, welcoming, watchful, and pure Tennessee through and through. If you've ever waited on a chart call and felt your stomach flip, remember, Roy built the kind of stage where a song could land and stay a while. 2 days later on our calendar, September 17th, 1923, down in Butler County, Alabama, Hiram Hank Williams is born. The paperwork said, Hiram, the world heard Hank. He pulls the lonesome straight out of the air like he'd been tuning to a private radio tower, and by the time his record starts spinning, folks across the South are crying into their coffee. Hank turned heartache into common language. The lines were simple. The lift, the way his voice yodeled up and back down, made you think of pine floors and night freight trains. It's hard to believe he did all that before the age of 30. This week we raise a cup to the boy from Mount Olive who wrote the handbook for high lonesome poetry. September 11th, 1984 is a harder stop. Barbara Mandrell, one of the sharpest, most professional entertainers to ever lace a stage shoe in Nashville, was driving home with her kids on Gallatin Road when another car crossed the center line. Head on. A young man in the other car lost his life. Barbara suffered major injuries, broken femur, ankle, a concussion that scrambled her days for a long time. Baptist hospital, surgery, long rehab. She came back slow, and she came back tough, giving credit to seatbelts and grit. Country's got a deep bench of show women, but in the 80s, Barbara was command central, awards, TV, flawless band, everything on the one. That wreck could have been the end. Instead, it's a chapter in a bigger story about resilience and about how fame doesn't make you bulletproof on a Tuesday drive. Now, let me take you to September 14th, 1967, Lebanon, Virginia, a little fair date where a brand new duet had to win over some stubborn hearts. Dolly Parton had just stepped onto the Porter Wagoner show, replacing Norma Jean, and at first the crowd let Dolly know just how much they missed the woman she replaced. Booze, callbacks, tough room. But Porter knew what he had, and he started weaving Dolly into the show as a partner. That first concert outing as a duo, the two of them leaned into close harmony and stage charm, and by the end of that run, audiences were on board. Those Lebanon fairgrounds might not look like much in a scrapbook, but that week was the spark of one of the Opry era's great on-stage partnerships, and the launchpad for Dolly's rocket. All right, chart and radio corner, September 16th, 1995. Country radio's lighting up with a brand new #1. Tim McGraw's I Like It, I Love It parks itself at the top and just grins. If you were pulling an evening shift at a Class C in 95, you remember the phones. It's a straight-ahead, windows-down record, cut hot, hooks for days, and it kept McGraw's run rolling right into arena territory. Sometimes the why of a hit is as plain as a backbeat and a smile. Lightning rundown while we're rolling. September 12th, 1931, Texas boy George Jones is born in Saratoga. Later on, they'll call him the Possum, and he'll put tear-colored varnish on every syllable he ever sang. He told a reporter once that he'd lie in bed as a kid listening to the Opry, begging his mama to wake him if he fell asleep, You can hear that hunger in the way he leans on a note, like he's gotta wring it dry before he lets it go. If you treasure classic country hits, you've got a George song that lives in your glove box. Opry and stage. Moments, this week's births alone, Acuff, Hank, George, are the pillars holding up the Opry's roof. Add Dolly's first road steps with Porter, and you can hear the boards of the stage talking back. We've seen it all, honey. Come set your mic. One last thought on Barbara. After the crash, the headlines kept coming. Lawsuits, recovery, the long, slow work of reclaiming a name. But when she walked back on stage, she reminded Nashville what professionalism looks like. The stage gives, and it also asks. She answered. So that's this week in country music history. A king is born, a poet is born, the Rolls Royce is born, a rhinestoned pro survives the worst day of her L.